Unleash the sickness, unleash the outbreak, unleash pandemic. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. Drills on both arms. The dentist, I will call him from now on. Even though you would not want him working on your teeth. He has enough diseases, enough pandemic to destroy all your teeth. I mean, that's cavities, gingivitis, and just the whole jaw gone. And people with no jaw look strange. But anyways, this is the new Decepticon controller. And he looks pretty cool here. He's got a sweet looking robot form in my opinion. Those double drills, man, they are just so cool. And then his ride is pretty fly. Or should I say, it is one sick ride. Oh yeah. And he only has 2 tuning options, so we're gonna check that out. Or excuse me, he only has 2 respray options. And here's the other one, which also looks very cool, and you can rock the yellow if you choose. So I was able to get into 1 game so far with Pandemic. The queue times were high for the Decepticons here, so I will show you guys some highlights out of that game. In all honesty, it was rather a slow-paced game. It was a Meteor Storm game, so I'll bring you guys some of the highlights from the game. I really like Pandemic. I think he's very cool, and I will talk about his weapons. So let's wait. I almost forgot his voice. Let's go over his voices real quick.
Look into my eyes. Poison is my specialty. I foresee a new social order. My ascension begins. Say no more. Now you listen to my orders, Commander.
Very cool. So now, let's jump into the game and I'll talk about his weapons and equipment. First off, he is a controller class, which means he is very good with group utility and self-utility. His subsystem, or passive, causes critical hits against the target to increase the duration of all their virus debuffs. So let's jump into his weapons. His first one, the Bacterian Pulse Blaster. This has a range of 6 out of 8. And it does Omni damage 3 out of 8 for both the shield and the spark. The S-Tech increases the target's incoming damage, with the increase in damage to the spark being twice the increase in damage to the shield. So it's better for the spark. His number 2, the Hypno Shotgun. This is a short-ranged Omni damage weapon. Causes each hit to apply or refresh a damage over time. Also, the S-Tech will pull the enemy towards Pandemic and slow their movement speed. Good for pulling enemies into a trap. And of course, my favorite, his number 3, the Decima Drills. This does spark damage of a 5 out of 8 at a very short range, and it also does 2 out of 8 for shield damage. The S-Tech on there will prevent the target from using his or her currently equipped weapon. Excellent for stopping healers. So let's jump into his equipment. For number 4, he has the Scale Armor. This repairs Pandemic over time and reduces damage output by 25%. His number 5, the Energon Coagulator. This reduces the incoming repairs of all enemies nearby at the time of activation by 20% and also removes all their boost and haul buffs. This will apply a virus. Each boost buff removed increases Pandemic's damage output by 15% to a cap of 45%. Each hull buff removed reduces his damage received by 15%. Which sounds kind of complex, and my best advice for this one is to use this in a cluster of people, especially if they are getting repairs. His number 6, the Cobra Stance. This cloaks Pandemic and nearby allies. If a cloaked warrior uses a weapon or takes damage, they will lose their cloak for a short time. If Pandemic changes form, the effect will be removed. Other Pandemic warriors are immune. For his vehicle form weapon, he has the Breakout Dumbfire Rockets. These double damage from the 3rd hit onwards if 3 or more rockets hit within a short time of each other. And that does a damage of 6 out of 8 spark and 3 out of 8 shield. For his equipment in vehicle form, he drops a neural toxic mine. This deploys a proximity mine which deals damage and also immobilizes those hit. Now, I didn't have much time to play with Pandemic due to the high queue times, and I wanted to bring you guys a video about him right away so that you guys could figure out if you wanted to purchase him or not. I will say he is very cool. He's very fun to play as, and his drills are amazing. He can give the Autobots a splitting headache, or at least a hole in their chassis. He has the potential to outduel anyone up close because of his drills S-Tech that can shut down their weapon that they're trying to use. And if it's their best weapon, it forces them to switch out to another one, and it will give Pandemic the edge in that fight. In my experience during this specific game type, I had really high success against the healers, but I had a harder time against the tanks. And I was able to apply viruses here and there, and I was also able to sneak away when I was close to death using the Cobra stance. So he's pretty versatile overall, and he makes for a good addition for just being a nuisance to the Autobots on the other side. A few times I got caught in the cage, and then it was the death of me because I had used all my equipment beforehand. But that is the potential of Outsider, is catching squishier targets, maybe such as a Pandemic, in the cage, and then having no escape really against 3 other Autobots. So overall, I think Pandemic is very awesome. His visual effects are spectacular to check out. His little tentacle that comes out of his back, as shown on screen here, is very cool looking, as well as when he removes a buff from the Autobots with his number 5, the like 5 or 6 tentacles come out of his back and just rip it off. It is very cool to look at. Plus, he's got drills. He's the dentist. He's the doctor of disease, and he will sweep across the Autobots many infections and many viruses, because of course his grand scheme is moolah. It's everybody's. He owns all the facilities, duh. So then he can come in, and for the right price he will cure the Autobot. No, that's not his backstory, but it would be a cool backstory if he was all about the profit like that. Anyways, I hope you guys all like this video and the highlight clips with Pandemic here. Just check out his effects. They are very cool. Right now, those are the tentacles. It takes away that shield. I love that. Very cool. And I don't really get to talk about his shotgun too much, but it can pull in and slow an Autobot, which is great for the team. So this guy has very high utility in a group, of course, and he's a little bit more complex versus an Outsider who can basically just provide a big AoE heal and some damage over time, and then a cage for an Decepticon or 2. This guy, in my opinion, he's a little bit more versatile. He can do a couple different things, and he can also 1v1 a target if he is played correctly. So Pandemic, you are a disease of awesomeness. Really like this con, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think about Pandemic, and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys all next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe for more. Also, click the screen for more awesome videos over at Bro Bras. Have a great day.